Once upon a time, there was a young woman named Sarah who was afraid of public speaking. She would get so nervous before giving a presentation that she would start to sweat, her heart would race, and her hands would shake. She would imagine all the worst possible outcomes, like fainting in front of the audience or making a fool of herself. One day, Sarah was assigned to give a presentation in her business class. She was so terrified that she thought about dropping the class altogether. But then she remembered the quote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." She decided to face her fear and give the presentation. Sarah took a deep breath and walked up to the podium. She looked out at the audience and saw that they were all just people. They were not going to judge her or laugh at her. She took a few more deep breaths and began her presentation. At first, Sarah was still nervous, but as she spoke, she started to relax. She realized that she knew what she was talking about and that she could do this. She finished her presentation to a round of applause. Sarah was so proud of herself for facing her fear. She realized that she had been suffering more in her imagination than in reality. She had been so afraid of public speaking that she had never even given it a chance. But once she did, she realized that it was not as bad as she had imagined. Sarah's story is a reminder that we often suffer more in our imagination than in reality. We can get so caught up in our fears and worries that we forget to live in the present moment. But if we can face our fears and take action, we can often find that they are not as bad as we thought they would be. Here are some tips for overcoming your fears and living in the present moment. Identify your fears. What are you afraid of? Once you know what you are afraid of, you can start to face them head-on. Break down your fears into smaller steps. Don't try to face your fears all at once. Start by facing small fears and gradually work your way up to bigger ones. Challenge your negative thoughts. When you start to think negative thoughts about yourself or your fears, challenge them. Ask yourself if there is any evidence to support those thoughts. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. There are many different ways to practice mindfulness, such as meditation, yoga, and Tai Chi. By following these tips, you can learn to overcome your fears.